please. If you don't have your name out, please get it out. Reminder, notes and homework are done on separate pages. Notes may continue from a previous day if you want to be efficient and like try to use your paper, like use all of your paper. Or you can start a new page. We have plenty of graph paper. Every day, you will start a brand new sheet for homework. And I want to review what should be in the header of that homework. So actually, I'm just going to do blank page here. What do you put on like every assignment for Phoenix, no matter what? So the thing who's got it? You're going to get real tired of hearing it. Somebody started the first name. Was that you? Okay. First name, last name. What else? And? Date. So, now, get out another sheet of graph paper then. We're going to have one for our notes today, but I want you guys to go ahead and head your homework to make sure that you have it. Hopefully we'll get in a good habit. Which actually, you might have already done your homework. So if you already did 115, check your header. Okay, we should all have our math notebook out, or your math binder. If you already did 115, check your header. Do you have first name, last name? So I'm just going to write first, last. Letter group, which you could put LG and then your letter group, or you could just put the like letter and circle it or something like that. So I'm going to say like I'm H, sure, because I'm guessing. Our date today. Now, you might have Friday's date, and if so, that's okay. But then, for math, you got one other thing that it needs to have. What the actual assignment is. So for today, it's 115, and what we were investigating was number patterns. You don't have to write number patterns on here. On your homework, you write 115, and then what numbers it is, because I've had some people text me or whatever else to, like, they forgot what the assignment was. So also on your math homework, you need exactly what the homework is. Okay, so not just name, date, letter group, all, you need exactly what the assignment is. Does that make sense? So I have checked the morning classes homeworks. I'm missing 2. I have not gotten through checking your guys' homeworks, but I can tell from looking at the stack. Some of us might be missing a few things. If you know that you turned in homework and you were missing an assignment, get it to me today. Try to get it to me at extensions, and that bad grade will never go on math. You can avoid things going in there if you like kind of get us while we're in mid-grading. So like if I am still working through grading stuff, I'm not going to be like, well, you didn't have it turned in, so no, give it to me. I want to post your grade as a positive thing. Right? I want to make your life easier. Now, I'm not going to lie for you. If you didn't do it, you didn't do it. So today for notes, so again, different page. You might be continuing from a previous assignment. You might be getting all artsy over here. I would do that too. I'm right there with Grace. So today is still 27. Well, still 27 for all day. And our math notes, right, they don't need first name, last name, letter group, like that stuff you don't need in your notes. You just need what we're doing. So we're doing 1.1.5 number patterns. Now, we already had some notes from this because we already did some of this. You guys remember 140, where we were looking at the prediction for what the answers for these would be? Who can remember what we saw here? Like my first one was 9. Then part B was like 9.8. Part C was 9.87. Can anyone remind us of what observation we made here, Christian?
A countdown.
Okay, kind of like a countdown. So what happens over on the left side to then change the answer and continue that whole countdown thing?
You're adding numbers.
Yeah, and actually I was reading a little math book that, I mean, if we're going to be honest, I have a math book in my bathroom, actually. One of you guys wrote about a bathroom reader, that you memorize facts from a bathroom reader, which is great. Like, you shouldn't waste your time. If you're in the bathroom, of course, spend that time on something else. So I read about math while I'm in the bathroom. There are 2 different ways to talk about the word add. What? You should read in the bathroom. Don't use your phone while you're in the bathroom. That's gross.
No, I do that, but you do that.
Why? Did I read math? What do you read in the bathroom? Like soap bottles or something?
Yeah.
Oh, you're wasting your time.
I get the conditioner in my shower and I just read the name of the whole
Yeah, you know.
I just do that.
I mean, when you're bored,
Yeah.
you're bored. All right, so hold up with me, because this is where math gets weird. Not hard, but weird. And like, if it was easy, that's no fun. So, add. Put two numbers together, right? 4 and 5 make 9. But the other definition of the word add means to like place on or put with, right? So Christian said, as we add, quote unquote, a new number on the end here and change this number, it then keeps the countdown going up, or more so down, I guess. And then that would become 9, 8, 7, 6, and we looked at how that continues from there. Hopefully you have those notes, or remember that a little bit. What did we see with the ninths? When we talked about the ninths. Yeah.
For whatever the number, numeral.
Numerator. Yes.
Is the same number as the.
Ooh. Yeah, but we need a little bit more details. It's not just the same number as the answer. So let me get an example, and maybe this will help you. So I'm going to pull this back up. What if I gave you, because I don't think we did this one last week. What if I gave you 8 divided by 9? What is that answer? So it's that number repeated, right? You got to say it's that number repeated. So 0.888. Please write this in your notes. What were the 2 ways that we could show it keeps going? Grace?
The line above it.
The repetend. And what else? Did we look at the other version?
Yes.
Claire? The dot. Now, do you remember what that was called?
Starts with an E.
Ellipse. I forget. Hey, Goldring. Is it ellipse or ellipses? So, like, if we're using it for the repeating decimal, would we call that an ellipse or an ellipse? Like 0.888 dot dot dot. Ellipses. Hi, I just learned something. Thank you very much. I've been calling it the wrong thing. So that's called an ellipses. I didn't know the end of the word was there. Repetend, you can write this, but you can't really type it. There's no real way to get a line above a number in a computer unless you know how to write math code. This nerd does. So if we're typing, we would type dot, dot, dot. You cannot really type a repetend, but most of the work we do this year is going to be on paper, so no worries. Yeah.
I know how to.
How to code math? Do you know LaTeX?
No.
LaTeX is the specific math language. So like so not latex like latex gloves, but LA cap. So here. That's the language that math is coded in, and the capital T matters. So this is, if you want to learn about math coding, how people like can research that. If you're like a super nerd like me, research that.
Yeah, you're not a nerd.
Yes, I am. I'm a nerd. I'm a dork. I'm a geek. I'm probably all of these things. So, did anyone take this question home? Because I gave you guys the challenge to take this question home and talk to your parents, your brother, your sister, your dog, somebody does. 0.99. Christian, did you actually take it home?
I talked to myself.
We have a lot of side conversations. Those need to come together with us.
So I talked to myself.
What do you think?
So if it's a repeating decimal, it won't. But if it's a fraction, 9/9, then it will.
Well, we're not looking at 9 over, we're looking at the number, 0.99999, like that. So ignore the fraction. What? So Christian, actually, hold on. Who agrees with Christian that those, do you say they do or don't? 0.999 repeating equal to 1. Do you say it does or does not?
Does not.
Does not equal. Who agrees with Christian it is not equal? Okay, I will give a third option of I'm not sure. Who thinks they are equal? 0.9 repeating forever is 1. And then who's just not quite sure yet? Yeah, that's why I have a job. All right, Christian, why do you think that?
The reason that I think that is there's never really a whole number in the ones place, so it couldn't equal 1.
Okay. So, if we call the distance between me and the door 1, Okay, we'll call that one door distance. It will make up a unit. And I'm going to simplify this idea because the 9s are kind of complicated to work with. If I go halfway through the door, how much do I have remaining? Half, right? Now, every time I move, I'm only allowed to go half of that distance. So now I go half. Now I go half again. 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 I go half again. Am I ever going to make it out the door? In 14 years, I'm still going to be going half of what I just did. Now half of what I just did. Now half of what I just did. Half of what I can't make it out because there's always something left. Right? There's always a tiny bit that was the half of the previous move. So when we think about 0.99999999999999999, wherever you stop looking at it, like wherever the 9s stop repeating, we're missing something, right? But it goes on forever. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure about this. We're going to leave that question for now. Sometimes I'm not going to tell you the definitive answer to keep you interested. We will come back to this. I promise. This is not the last time we'll talk about this year. But I'm going to leave you with that for now. Now, that, in your notes, please write, was an example of repeating decimals. And you will, on your first mastery, be asked to show an example of repeating decimals. Now, repeating decimals can be really difficult, and they can also be really, really easy. Like the 9th we just saw, whatever's on top, that keeps going. Now, you don't have to write this down, but I'm about to blow your mind. And this is not just because I've memorized it.
Are you going to blow our mind for the
I
second
try
time?
to every day.
Every day.
1/7. Anyone have a calculator? Because I'm going to need you to verify this one.
I have a calculator.
The 7th family has a trick.
Oh.
The 7th family has a trick. What's 7 times 2?
14.
What's 7 times 4? What's 7 times 8? 7 times 8.
56.
Now, not quite 50. You're right with 56. All of that repeats. Now, hold on. Wait. So somebody verify that for me. Who's got a calculator? Claire, you verify. Is that right? 1, 4, 2, 8, 5, 7? And then you're going to see like another 1 here and then another 4. 2 7s. You can if you want. This is up to you. You don't have to write this down, but if you're interested. Now, hold up. 2 7s has to be bigger than 1 7th, right? If I don't start with a 1 here, what other number that I have would be the next biggest? The 2, right? All of that repeats. The whole thing shifts. Gets crazier. What's the next biggest number that I have in my digits that I'm using? 4, right? Can anyone predict what 3 7ths will come out to be? Well, we know it's bigger. It's going to use that 4. What number comes after the 4? 2, 8, 5, 7, and then I got to loop back around to the 1, right?
Oh my god.
The numbers always keep the same order, but which number we start with changes. On your paper, write down 4/7. Can you predict based off that pattern what this will be? Take like 30 seconds on your own. Can you predict based off that pattern, what this will be. Not quite. I like magic, but I'm not that good at it.
I can do a magic. Get one.
What's the next biggest digit that we would start with then? We use the 1, we use the 2, we use the 4. 5. 5's the next biggest one, right? What number comes after 5? The 7. Then what number? 1, 4, 2, 8. You can check that in a calculator, and it's accurate. 5/7. We have time. 5/7. What's the next biggest digit that I have to work with? The 7, right? All of that repeats. 6/7. We'll just finish it out. 6/7. What's it start with? The 8. Then the 5. 7, 1, 4, 2. No 8 because we can't write it again. By the way, that's mic drop when I do that. Drop the mic. I had for those people that weren't with us, so I had to make it make sense. Okay, you don't have to like math, but that's cool, right? Like, that's sweet. Now, you want to see another one? You want to see another one? Hold on, this one has no reason. Well, I mean, the math, obviously, but there's no extension to this trick. Write down 1/6. This is a good fraction to just get in your brain. Now, this does not work for 2/6 or 3/6 or 4/6. It only works with 1/6, but 1/6 is also a repeating decimal. It's 0. Watch how easy this is. My 1, my 6, and my 6 just keeps going.
Seriously?
That's it. Yeah. 1/6 is 0.166 forever. Now, that does not work. I have to be very, very clear about this. With any other 6. Like, you can't do 2/6 and just put a 2 here. That doesn't work. And actually, what's 3/6? It's a half. So actually, some of the 6s repeat. Some of them don't. What is 2/6? Can I reduce that?
1/3.
1/3, right? What's the 1/3 fraction?
0.36.
It's just like 3/9. Now, if you're not quite with me, that's okay. But what we did here was we cut this in half. You see that? Then, because I know how to work with the 9s, I tripled. Right? So I tripled. And what Christian said is right. It is 0.3 repeating forever. I know we announced it this morning to some classes. Cover your cough, wash your hands. We're getting into germ season. So I think I'm just dealing with allergies right now. But I'm trying to keep my distance from you guys. A lot of times I walk through the classroom and stuff. I'm going to stay away from you guys today. All right. Now the other type of decimals. So you can draw like a squiggly line or something if you want, because we're going to shift gears a tiny bit. The other type of decimals. What does it mean to? What's a really like powerful word that means to like stop or end or not keep going? And actually, this is such a powerful word. We named a character, like a robot character, after this word. Terminator. So the other type of decimals, not Terminator decimals, but terminating. So please write down terminating decimals.
Where's like the PI assumption?
And all that means is they don't repeat. That's the fancy way. So now, if you do not know the Terminator movies, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who later then became the governor of California, he is the Terminator. So just goes to show, if anyone ever tells you you cannot, like, you are stuck in a career, that's not true. He was a crazy actor, like, super strong, buff dude, comes to Columbus once a year for the Arnold Classic. Like that Arnold Schwarzenegger, he was then the governor of California. He's the Terminator. Yeah, get to the chopper. Terminating decimals are nicer, right? Because they're easy. Like 1/2. What's the decimal form of 1/2? 0.5. What about 3/4?
Oh, that's easy. 0.75.
Think money, right?
Sure.
Now, the old way that we did this, if you were given a fraction or a division in elementary, what would you immediately set up? That, right? That's what Grace did with her hand. I hate that guy. You know how much time I spent in my childhood fighting through the
I am with you. I am fighting with you.
All right. So forget him. He's not coming along for the ride.
real, right? North division is awful.
Now, hold up.
We can make magical gloves.
Say what you just said again, but with people caring about what you're saying, because I think it was really good.
North division sucks.
Yeah, and somebody else said it, or maybe it was Alex that said it. My brain got mixed up. What did you say about division? Division's not real.
Yeah, I did that.
So, what I found really funny, some of you guys in your letters to me, like about yourself, you're saying like, oh, I really like multiplication, but I hate division. And I'm sitting there laughing to myself. I'm like, you just don't know how to do it right. So, I'm going to teach you guys how to make your life easier, right? Don't divide. Forget the long division. Oh my gosh, Christian. You look like your eyeballs are swimming. You ever heard that expression? Eyeballs are swimming means I really got to go to the bathroom.
He's constipated.
Your eyeballs are floating. Like it's like there's so much. Yeah, it's Christian.
Okay, another form of division. Can you, like, multiply negative numbers?
Well, we're not even dealing with negatives right now. We're just talking how do we avoid division and instead multiply. So again, set up 3/4.
Oh.
Then put equal to and make another fraction bar. What is this first decimal place called? Tens place. Great. You're all wonderful. Can I... Now remember, we want to make our life easy. So I don't want any difficult answers here. Easy. Right? Forget long division. Can I turn 4 into 10 easily? I could, no matter what, but could I do it easily? Can I turn 4 into 10? It's like some sort of multiplication, right? We don't want to divide. We're trying to multiply. No, right? Can't do it. Not easy. Can I turn 4 into 100 easily? Yeah, that's pretty easy. Now, here's the trick that is going to serve you very, very well this year. So if you listen now, you're going to like save yourself a bunch of time and struggle. If we don't know what to multiply by, is that how you carefully listen? Okay, we need to have a conversation after class. I'll see you after class. If I don't know how to multiply, I divide backwards. Now I know I said we weren't going to divide, but we've now made our math easy, right? 10 to 4, not easy. 100. Now some of us might know this. How many 4s are in 100? 25, right? But if I didn't know that in your calculator, you could do 100 divided by 4, or you can just think it out in your head because this is easier to do. That's going to give me times 25. Now, guys, you need to show this work that we're doing times 25 on bottom and top. So please do that right now. I'm going to sit while I make sure you have exactly what I have there. And I'm missing 2 things up here. I'm missing the new numerator, but what else? If I multiply by 25 on the bottom, got to do it on the top. What is 3 times 25? 75. Sorry, sometimes it's just whoever wants to shout it out. I need to start using cards. I actually do have card sets now. 75 hundredths. 75 hundredths. This tells me what the decimal should be. So avoid long division like it's your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend.
What?
Some people avoid their exes. Avoid long division. Now, we never long divided here. Yes, this table's broken. We never long divided. I did a simple division to get my 25. Did not need to long divide. Just did like fraction stack division or whatever you want to call it. Then I was able to just multiply. And multiplication's easier. Right? We want to make our life easy. So let's look at a couple more of these. What do you mean? Now, hold up. I want to see how much more of this. Yeah, we got time. We got 15 minutes.
Oh, really? That went by fast.
A on, so label, actually we should have labeled 43. If you want to, somewhere like up here where we go to terminating decimals, if you want to put a 43. So this is problem 43. That's all I'm saying, is that we were working through problem 43. And we still are. A has this.
Oh, my.
Now I'm going to start using cards. Might as well. No time like the present, right?
Yeah.
So cards, what I mean by that, and a couple of you guys are going to luck out because I did not quite have enough to use at home. Or maybe I did have enough.
That voice cracked.
Stop. If you want to do that, leave my class. You don't have to be in here, but if you leave my class, you're going to miss class. So if you can't behave in class, leave. This is the class, all of you, right? And probability would state that if each of you only have one card in the stack, you each have an equal chance, right? So the reason that I do this is way back when I was learning how to be a better teacher. I'm still learning how to be a better teacher. One of a teacher who used to teach her, who's now retired, watched my class. And like some of you have probably noticed, I've called on Christian a lot today already. He's close, his hand's up often. He's often the first one to have his hand up. And I was really afraid he was going to jump out of his seat if I didn't call on him. But this keeps me fair. This lets me not choose. I just randomly pull, and a lot of times I shuffle, and I just go from the top, and I work my way down. If you do not want to answer the question that I've asked you, and normally I'll say your name before I ask the question. So I'd say, Jose, and then I toss this off to the side because I've used his card. How do I say this properly? And 0.125 is not the proper way to say it. So if Jose didn't want to answer, all he has to say is pass. All he has to say is pass. Now, you got to think about it for a moment. And sometimes when you go to pass, I'll say, well, ask your team and see if anybody knows. But if Jose passes, do I leave his card thrown to the side? No, I stick it back in the deck. And we will come back to Jose later. Okay, then I move on and say, okay, Lauren. And this also helps me know who you guys are. Because when I call your name and I'm like, Lauren, wait, you're not Lauren, you're not Lauren. I have to find Lauren, right? And then that helps me learn her name. All right, so Jose, do you want to answer this?
No.
Okay, perfect, because your card's already back in the deck. Lauren, how do I read this properly? What is this number? Forget about the decimal.
125.
And what place does it? Aha! So we write it 125 thousandths. And that would be how we would put it to a fraction. You got this? What about, sorry, that was part A. So now we're moving on to part B. Landon, how do we read that number?
6 repeating.
There's no nice way to say it, right? Like, I can't say like 6/10, 600, 6,000, 600. And if I say like 666,000, that's not right. That's not true, because this keeps going forever. There is no good way to say this. Well, is no like proper way. However, we know how to write it, right? If this is repeating 6 and only repeats 6, what fraction is it? We just talked about this family. Friday and today. What should be on the bottom if I'm repeating one number over and over and over again? 6 is going to be on top. What number goes on bottom that makes this happen? Yeah, 9. Now, Grace for a moment was thinking in her head like, 10 is not right. Right, so she thought, if it was only 0.6, that is 6/10. But when the repeating bar comes into play, the numerator doesn't change. Denominator changes and has to be that 9. Now, you could long divide this to prove it. You'll just be long dividing forever. So, if you really want to, not my advice, but you could. What about in C, we have 5/6. Make a prediction. Do you think this is going to repeat or terminate? 5/6. Talk with your group really quick. Without a calculator, hold on. Without a calculator, is there a way we can figure out what this is? What about kindergarten class? Wasn't that Arnold Schwarzenegger too? No? Miles. Does your group have an idea? Does it terminate or does it repeat? All right, bring it back together. I have a question. What if I look at this as 4/6 and 1/6? Now I'm going to break this up a little bit. 4/6, these are both even numbers. So the first thing in my head I think is like, well, that's really like 2/3. Which 2/3 is a lot like how many ninths?
3 ninths.
Yeah, if we triple the bottom, we got to triple the top. Wait a minute. We just saw this. 6/9 is the 0.6 repeating. Now hold on. What was 1/6? Wasn't this 0.166? Without a calculator, just so we only know a couple rules. We know the ninths, right? We talked about the ninth family. Ninth family repeats whatever's on top. And we talked for a moment about a couple sixths, like a couple in that family. We could then put these values together. Now it'd be kind of hard because they're repeating, so we'd have to stack it, and then there's a lot of ones to be carried because 6 and 6 make 12, so there's going to be a lot of carrying. But we could figure this out. We do not need a calculator. We can just remember a few simple rules. What about 4? Yeah, like D. It's 4. When I go to make that a decimal, do you think it's going to be terminating or repeating?
Terminating.
Yeah, that's kind of like a duh. This is not a partial number, right? So this is in here not as a trick question, but a very straightforward question. If I make this decimal form, it's just 4.0, right? Don't put a decimal on a number unless you're going to put something after it. Okay, we don't just write this because it's weird. It just looks wrong. Yeah, like 4. As opposed to when I was disc golfing and I was like 4. It's gonna hit somebody if you don't. For real, I disc golfed yesterday. I was trying to feel better, so I went out and disc golfed. I shot 4 under at Glacier Ridge for what it's worth, but my buddy shot 8 under, so he beat me. It's okay. He's better than me. It's okay. I did my best. That's what I did my best.
That's like the thing.
Sorry. What's your name tag? Oh. No, these are morning people. Is Natalie or Casey in
No,
here?
it's up there.
Casey's not in here. I
Mine's
see
in my
that.
book bag, and I know exactly where it is. I just forgot to bring it. But I'll definitely bring it tomorrow. I can promise that to you.
I love quiz.
I have my name down.
But something specific to 3B that will matter as I grade your stuff, I got some no names. So at the end of class, if you're not 100% sure if you had a name on your paper, those were turned into the 3B bin. So they should belong to one of you guys. Now, if somebody put them in the wrong place, they might not belong to one of you guys. But check those out if you're not sure. What about 2 over 5? Now, it's not a 6th or 7th or 9th or the ones that we know repeat. Mason. So what are you thinking about 2/5? Gut reaction, repeating or terminating? You're not Mason. Repeating? Okay. Let's see if there's a way, like, if it terminates, then we should be able to answer a couple questions with yes. Okay? So, and if we find out the answers are no, then we'll have to go to repeating. Could I turn this into a 10? How? What multiplication? Times 2. So on top is a denominator of 10 going to repeat or terminate? Terminate. So this is actually 0.4, or the proper way to say it, 4 tenths. Right? 4 tenths. It's in the tenths place. So I like your initial reaction, Mason. I know probably why you said that you thought it was going to repeat. 5 is an odd number, right? 5, it's odd. It's not even, not odd like weird. It is odd. A lot of times we get in this. 9 was an odd number, and it repeated, right? Division by 9. 3 is an odd number, and it repeats when we divide by 3. But 5 doesn't. 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, and 5/5 are all terminated. So 5 does not quite go by the rule, and makes 7 also repeated, right? All of the other odd numbers we looked at repeated. This is the odd denominator that doesn't. It actually terminates. Questions at this point? Well, you sure? All right, last thing we want to look at was in your homework. A couple of you asked me questions about it, and I said I would not help you because we talk about it in class. We want to be able to represent things. So, in your homework, you will be asked to do things like this. What you actually want to draw or make or create or whatever is a triangle. And actually, you don't have to do all the arrows. You could just do a triangle. Fill in the part they give you. How do we say, or sorry, words or pictures go in the middle. How do we say that? 2/3, but if I want to actually like think about it realistically, a lot of times we use the word out of. Right? And if you look back up there, it has a couple examples, and actually the math notes box right below where we're looking has examples of this. If I want to use the words out of, 2 out of 3. So if we wanted to make a picture, I could, yeah, that's a picture that would represent 2 out of 3. Or another picture that could work, and this is where people get confused. One object with 2 of the portions shaded. So whether you have 3 objects and 2 of them have some characteristic, or 2 out of 3 of something, over here, you write the decimal. When you see 3 on the bottom, your brain should immediately think of what other number? Not 6, 9. We want to turn 3s into 9s. How do we do that? Times 3, so what's this become? So this is 0.6 repeating. Do we know anything over a 9? I don't know why we're not writing this. I'm essentially helping you do it. Like these exact questions, different numbers, but this exact question is in your homework. And percent, we haven't quite learned much about that yet, but does anyone know what percent mean? Or I'll make it easier and say, what does cent mean? Itzo, you're amazing. Percent means per 100 or out of 100, right? So what percent really means is how many out of 100 would this be? Now, here's the struggle. You don't have to write this part, but I'm going to show you. Can 3 easily multiply to become 100? No. Not easily. Because think about it. It's odd. 3 times 10 is 30. Then I can do like 90. I can get to 99, but I can't quite get to 100 easily. You ready for another trick? And then that'll be the end of class. To convert a decimal into a percent.
Good afternoon. Could I please have Yvonne?
I was about to drop a bombshell.
Kaylee Perkins to the office. Thank you.
All we do is bump the decimal to the right 2 places. And this becomes 66.6. It still repeats, right? I didn't stop the fact that it repeats. But that, now you have to have the percent sign on there. That's how you convert it to a percent. That will help you a lot on your homework if you paid attention and wrote that stuff down. Have a wonderful day, guys. My brain got straight. Wonderful day like merged in my head. No name homeworks. Actually, I'm gonna hold these at the door and make everybody look at them. Simon, don't leave yet. Are either of these your guys? Okay. Look at these as you leave. Hopefully, one of you will claim them. These aren't yours, right? You'll adjust. This is like basic training, and you're like, it's yours, I get a name on it, and turn that back in. Oh, I figured it out. Yeah, don't worry, I figure out when people can you what? I'm sure, I don't care. Oh, cool. 42, isn't it? Is she in this class or is she in the morning class? Oh, here, like black and dark hair here. Yeah, like, this is yours? Oh, so it's not here, is it? I was wondering if it might be yours, because put your name on it, turn it back in. I don't grade things that I don't know who they belong to.
Okay. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but
I gotta chat real quick. Can we hang on? I feel like we're about to dive into a deep discussion. So then, making sure you know where it goes.
yes.
Always here, but put a name on it.
Hey, did you
Oh,
know
do you?
my arm?
For real?
Oh, Dad, you're tall, Alex.
When he almost died.
Tomorrow's a new day. Everything will be great. It's okay. You're getting used to 7th grade, but I only have 45 minutes with you guys, and when I get like mixed up or like that throws me off, right? Like when I'm in the middle of delivering something, and do you remember what you did? I don't. You remember what you did?
Elon.
Like it just messes
Elon,
me.
if you make it back before I do, I'm
And if
gonna be
you
the
want to
best.
say something to the class, raise your hand. I will recognize you. I will let you speak. But if I'm talking, I gotta deliver a message. Okay. Thanks. You're good. I do that.
We need to steal some chess.
Steal. You can borrow anything you want.
We play chess for like during.
Yeah, break is your time. Break is your time. Yeah. Oh, okay. So are you ready to have your mind melted?
Yes.
Okay, so you've been doing some work with radicals, and I'm guessing you've done some of the smaller ones.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show you simple. What's the next radical? Like perfect square root.
You're 54.
Not 5, not 6, not 7. Yep. And this is 2, and this is 3. Right? So what is problematic is when somebody comes out of here and they're like, radical 7 or some nonsense like that. Now, I know that this is between here, right? So we know that this number is between here and there. So what would this number be?
That would be
Would it be a 2 or would it be a 3?
That would be 2 point.
Now hold on. Don't just try to like pull from memory, because this is where my trick comes in. How big is the gap between these perfect square roots? 5, right? How much of that gap have I covered traveling to radical 7? What is the decimal for 3/5? Oh, come on. But now I have to go to classic. Sorry, not math. It's in the settings. 2.6. Accurate to the 10th place. Try another one. Let's do a harder one. So give me a 2-digit non-perfect square root. Non-perfect. 11. What is radical 11 between what 2 perfect squares? Radical 9 is 3, so we know this is going to start with 3. How far between these 2? 7. How much of it have I covered? 2 of the 7, right? Now, you might not know this yet, but the 7th family have a really cool trick that you can, it's repeating. And if you want to know the 7th trick, I'll teach you that too. But we know that this is 0.2 something, and it's actually 2.8, so it's almost 3. Type in radical 11 in the calculator. This actually rounds to 3. So to the 10th place, this would be 3. Accurate to the 10th place, right? So if all you need is to the 10th place, now, a student of mine made that up. This is called the Rachel method, dubbed to Rachel Shaw. And actually, I'm still recording, so this is great that I actually have a recording of this at some point. My last video is still going. Rachel Shaw, like 5 years ago, I think it was, came up with it. She just saw it in her brain. She was like, wait, there's so much gap between them, and we've covered so much of it. Why don't we just do a fraction? Isn't that cool? It's not necessarily all that useful, but it works. Like, the fact that it works is cooler than anything else. So, that's my trick. Right?
It's really nice eyelashes. What? That's interesting.
ebooks.cpm.org. Or just Google CPM ebook and it will come up. Yeah, I don't exactly know even still what happened to it. Like how
it gave out.
Well, how it's broken, how like it still works, right? It's still a chair.